Welcome, everyone, to the final semifinal match of the first season of MAUL, the Monster Arena Ultimate League. Today, two teams are facing off, with one of them earning a chance to fight for the MAUL itself, going on to the final round and facing off against the Bulmahn. One of these teams today will advance to that prestigious match, while the other will get one final chance to appease the commissioner in the third place playoff round next week. But before we get to that, I am Jason Bulmahn, one of the commentators of today's action, and I am joined, as always, by my good buddy Dan. Hey there, Dan.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for joining us.
Dan, I think we have a exciting match on the plate here today. One of these teams is going to go on to fight for everything, right?
It's all on the line. Like, this is building up to a grand finale, and this is the second piece of that grand finale, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, you know, we have had 5 matches up to this point. We had the 4 quarterfinal rounds, and then last week's semifinal round. This is the other semifinal round to determine the other team in the final match. And, you know, over these past weeks, going back all the way to the beginning of the preseason, it feels like it's all building towards one final titanic battle. And today, one of these teams will earn a spot in that battle. So,
yeah, I think it's really easy, first of all, to see how things have been progressing throughout the different brackets and how things are moving. But I expect that it's not going to go the way everybody expects. I think the finals, these last few games are just going to be really interesting to see. I think it's going to be fun.
Indeed. Now, before we take a look at today's teams, let me remind everyone of the rules of MAUL. Each team is built using monsters found from the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Bestiary. Using the encounter building rules, each team is made up of 160 XP worth of monsters, as balanced against a party of first level characters. Teams can get a morale bonus throughout play by the cheering of the fans. That's the folks watching here on Twitch who can vote in a poll in the Twitch chat. In addition, audience members can also donate bits to the MAUL show to buy hero points for each team. Each team can earn up to 3 hero points. Let's go ahead and get ourselves over to the MAUL Arena itself. So here we are in the MAUL Arena. This is where all of the action is going to take place. Before we get started here, I want to take a look at the bracket as it currently stands. As you can see, there has been a lot of fighting to get to this moment. We are filling out the last 2 spots here. You can see that the Bonebreakers and Poison Shadows are set to face off. They will be fighting for the right to go take on the Bulmahn. The loser of today's match will go to the third place playoff game next week against the Firestormers. So we're really coming up to the end here, Dan. This season has flown by, and I am excited to start taking a look at today's teams.
Absolutely.
So on paper, these two teams have a lot in common. The numbers look kind of close, right? The AC is not that far off. The hit points is not too far off. But when you look at how the teams are built and what they're bringing to the arena, they could not be more different. Now, the Bonebreakers have a lower average AC, most of that being on Bonehoof, who has a AC of only 17. And you might think that might make them in a little bit of trouble here today, but their damage reduction is going to be clutch. They will be taking 5 off of any hit that does not deal bludgeoning damage, and the drow are not exactly known for having a bunch of bludgeoning weapon. Top it off, the entire team is undead, which is going to make them immune to poison. That's another one of the drow advantages negated here in this match. But finally, it all comes down to the skeletal giant. The Bonebreakers live or die on the edge of its axe. Or is that undead and die? I don't know. In either case, what do the Poison Shadows bring to the match today?
Well, the Drow are bringing a much more balanced squad to today's match, with every member of the team being a threat. First off, they're going to need their AC advantage to slow down the skeletons. The more the attacks miss, the longer their hit points will last. And of course, they're always going to need to rely on their mobility to get them into position to win. Flanking the Bonebreakers and avoiding the Giants' terrifying sweep attack is critical. And let's not forget sneak attack. That extra D6 from the Sisters is the only way they're going to carve through all that damage reduction.
Indeed, you almost feel like without that sneak attack, this is going to be one very long grind where the drow are desperately trying to literally chip away at the Bonebreakers. So,
I get it.
You see what I did there? Yeah. All right. So let's take a closer look at the teams. Let's start off with the Bonebreakers. There it is. So after their stunning upset over the Ogre Brothers, these skeletons have been the talk of the Black Pits as of late, but Volzar, the team necromancer, has once again caused controversy on the eve of today's match. After Snap was destroyed in the quarterfinals, Volzar has replaced the skeleton with the bones of Screech, the goblin captain who was brutally slain during last week's match. The Firestormers have lodged a complaint, but as of the start of this game, the Commissioner has not issued any ruling. Team Captain Crunch and Beater Bonehoof could not be reached for comment, as they have no tongues to make one. So, Dan, over to you.
So for the Poison Shadows, having earned redemption in the quarterfinals by ruthlessly destroying the Doom Dwarves, the Poison Shadows have once been accused of bending the rules of MAUL. The Commissioner's Imps have reported that the Drow were spotted trying to purchase holy water for today's match from the black market. This contraband has been seized, but the Drow have once again avoided sanction for this move. Alec and Moreira blamed their brother Kron for the misstep.
You know, that's just like the Drow, always blaming it on the brother. They still have got to be smarting from having to sub Kron in for Tiss after the preseason match. It seems pretty clear that they intend to scapegoat the poor Drow brother.
That's how it's looking, yes.
It certainly is. All right, everyone. Before we get to the initiative, I think it's about time for us to hear from one of our sponsors.
This semifinal match is brought to you by Silver Crescent Wines. The dwarves will have you believe that their beer is made with secret ingredients and careful attention. You should know that the secret ingredients are arsenic and hops. That's it. We're saying it's poison.
All right, and as we are ready to get started, Dan, it is time for us to roll initiative. So go ahead and start selecting your units and roll that initiative for them. Here in MAUL, everyone gets their own individual initiative, which can make things a bit slow when we've got a lot of figures on the field, but today there are only 3 on each side. Assuming that last one will roll. There it is. All right. Let me go ahead and get these in descending order. There we are. Dan, we are just about ready to go. Now I want to remind everyone here today that the arena has been altered from the quarterfinals. This altar here in the center is now a full 5 feet tall in the middle. This can provide cover, up to complete cover for medium-sized creatures looking across this altar at one another. Now, as a reminder, we are going to go ahead and award the Poison Shadows their hero point for the cheers before the match. So we're going to go ahead and give that to them. Hero point token is spinning above Dan's portrait there. And with that, we are ready for the start of round 1. And right away here at the start of round 1, we have another hero point being bought for the Poison Shadows, bringing them up to 2 before the action has even started. All right, to get things rolling here on round 1, the first person to act is going to be Bonehoof. Probably not how the Drow wanted to get this whole thing started. Bonehoof is going to spend his first action moving up on top of the altar. And I'm going to go ahead and measure here. All right. With his second action, Bonehoof is going to march up to here. And with his third action, he is going to attack Kron with his glaive. That's going to be the best he could do. He would Terrifying Charge, but he's just not close enough because the horns do not have reach. So here comes the Glaive Strike on Kron to get things started. That is an absolutely terrible roll for the Minotaur. An armor class of 16 is going to miss. Looking at chat, we've got some more hero points incoming. But as they came in late, I'm not going to use that one just yet. The Bone Breakers have earned their first hero point. The Poison Shadows have now all 3 of theirs. Dan, that is the end of Bonehoof's turn. Next up is Kron.
Okay, let's see. Kron. And just as a reminder, all 3 of them have hand crossbows that are already loaded and ready to go.
All right.
They're not poisoned, however, like they normally would.
Why bother?
Why bother? It's not going to make a difference.
They have no meat.
No, they have no meat. That's true.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is, I believe Kron is just going to go ahead and take a shot with that hand crossbow at Bonehoof right now.
All right.
And
gonna go ahead and take the shot with the hand crossbow. All right, here it comes. Armor class of 15 is not gonna do it. The bolt clatters off of its bones and fails to do any damage.
Yeah. Okay. Second action. Boy. Kron is going to...
Are the drow going to sacrifice their brother to set up the flank for the other 2? That is the question of the day.
I'm getting word from the team that sacrifice is an ugly word, Jason. They're not going to say sacrifice. Kron's going to move over there with their second action.
Yeah, that looks like the sacrifice play.
And then, you know what? For their third action, they're just going to do quick draw and draw their rapier and take an attack.
All
I
right,
think is what's going to happen. And so this will be the second attack.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Little less accurate. Ooh, that is very close, but it's just not going to quite be there. That is 1 shy of hitting Bonehoof. However, you got to be liking how the dice are coming in pretty close to what you need. That flank, almost there.
Yeah. They're very happy to miss as long as it's close. I don't know.
That served the Firestormers so well last week.
Yeah,
missing by 1 again and again. Next up in the order is Crunch. The skeletal champion is got his sword and shield out. He is going to spend his first action, probably his first 2 actions here, moving. Oh, he's going to have to spend all of his actions moving. Boy, that's unfortunate. All right. Well, in that case, he's just going to move up to here. And he's going to move to there and raise his shield. That's pretty much all he can do this round. Not moving nearly as fast as some of the others, so he's got to kind of move up to that spot and raise his shield to increase his defenses. And that is the end of Crunch's turn. Next up is Moreira.
All right. Moreira is going to move right up here for 1 action, and then quick draw and attack with their short sword for their second action.
Okay. Oh boy. This is going to be a flank, so sneak attack is a possibility, of course. Armor class of 18, Dan. That is going to be a hit. But it did not roll damage for us, so we're going to need to go in and click the damage.
Okay, so let's do that.
All right, 9 points of damage, but you do get sneak attack in there as well, so go ahead and bounce me another d6 to figure out exactly how much damage it was. Another 3 for a total of 12. Well, that is going to get reduced to 7, but it is a good start, chipping away at the dangerous and deadly Bone Hoof. That was your second action. What does Moreira have in store for us for her third action?
Third action is going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Moving back there.
All right, running up, making the quick hit, and then backing away from Bone Hoof before he can do any more damage. Next up is Alec.
Okay, Alec is going to go 20 feet right there. Just basically take their spot.
All right.
Is going to quick draw and attack with their short sword.
Sure. In comes another short sword attack. This one, however, is a critical failure. Dan, you got to be wondering, are the drow going to start dipping into those hero points this early in the game?
Jason, I'm just getting word from the pits. They absolutely 100% are going to start dipping into those and use that and do that attack again, I think. We
are seeing a hero point being spent by the drow pits. And here comes the reroll. That is going to be a hit. A 19 will score a hit on Bone Hoof. However, only 6 points of damage, but let's roll that sneak attack d6 to find out where it actually lands. Another 3 for a total of 9. Going to get reduced to 4. Not quite as much as the previous hit, but still, Bone Hoof has been wounded this round. Now, Alec does still have one action remaining. You got to wonder, is the drow going to stay there and take that second swing? Or is she also going to flee?
I think that she's also going to flee. I think that Alec is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Go up there.
All right. The drow have run up, scored their hits, and fled. All right, rounding up the end of the round here is Screech. The goblin skeleton, recently animated, is going to go ahead and shamble forward. It has its short bow drawn, and it's going to go ahead and move 25 feet. And is actually going to move up even closer to get a clear line of sight at Kron. We'll go ahead and move up there. And from that vantage is going to fire a short bow strike at Kron. Here it comes. Armor class of 23 is probably going to do it, I would think.
That does, in fact, do it.
For 6 points of damage.
Okay.
The goblin skeleton wields that bow with practiced ease, despite not having one when it was a goblin. All right. That's how things work here in MAUL. Sometimes you get a weapon you didn't even know you could use. All right. That brings us to the end of the first round of combat, everybody. Before we go to the break, why don't we hear from our sponsors? This match is brought to you by Big Beard Brews. Did you know that the elves are trying to charm you with their wine? Like literally, with magic. You can't trust that sparkling swill. Drink Big Beard Brews. We'll never enchant you. And we're back with the start of round 2. Dan, that first round was pretty much all drow. I think, the skeletons got a little lucky with a hit on Kron there at the end. But the drow cannot be too upset about scoring some early, easy hits on Bone Hoof without taking any damage in return.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think it's pretty clear that the sisters consider the drow team really just the sisters, and Kron is just along. Because I think that if you asked Alec and Moreira, they would say, yeah, our team took no damage that round.
Yeah, exactly. What damage? I'm not seeing any damage. Kron's over there with an arrow wound in his neck. All right, but the crowd is cheering for the skeletons. We've just gotten another hero point purchased for them, so they are now up to 2, and the cheering has gone their way, so they are going to get the morale bonus this round. That is going to the skeletons, and to start things off, we have Bonehoof. Bonehoof is looking at Kron here, and is not too happy to see the drow fighter rolled up on him, so he is going to go ahead and start the round by taking a glaive strike on Kron. Here it comes. Armor class of 23. That is going to do, unfortunately, minimum damage. It only does 8. Not nice. What the skeletons wanted to see here at the start of the round, but he is going to go ahead and take a second swipe at... yeah, he's going to take a second swipe at Crown and just try and remove him. Armor class of 20, minimum damage again. However, another 8 points of damage, I think, might be spelling an end to Kron's day.
That is going to do it. Yes. Kron does not look good. I.e., he looks dead.
I.e., he slumps to the floor of the MAUL arena. All right, Bonehoof only has 1 action left. So Bonehoof is going to go ahead and move up to Alec. And that is going to be the end of the Minotaur's turn. Next up is Crunch. The skeletal champion spent the entire first round slowly marching up the field. Let's see where we can get this time around. That's 1 move. That would be 2. Crunch is going to go ahead and flank Alec, and oh boy, is probably going to take a longsword strike. Instead of raising the shield, it's a little risky, but I'm not too worried about being flanked on that far side of the field. I'm going to go ahead and take a longsword strike against Alec. Here it comes. Armor class of 15. Boy, that is a terrible roll of 5. That is not very good. I think we're going to go ahead and see a hero point come out of the skeletal pits for that one, and we are going to go ahead and re-roll that attack roll. Much better. An armor class of 29.
Oof. All
now,
right. Well,
Dan, that would normally be a critical hit.
Yeah. I think Nimble Dodge is going to help with that. They get a +2 circumstance bonus to their AC against the triggering attack.
Yeah, so that is going to turn it from a critical hit just back into an ordinary hit, so that's only going to do 6 points of damage, and that is going to be the end of Crunch's turn. Next up, Moreira.
Moreira is going to have to double move up there. Okay, Moreira is going to get into place and take an attack with their short sword.
All right. So that is an attack roll of a 16. That against a flat-footed Bonehoof is going to be a hit. So that's going to do 6 points of damage, but you do get the sneak attack die in there, so go ahead and roll that as well. Uh, 5 points of damage. So that's going to do a total of 11. So 11 minus 5, it's going to be 6. There we are. Boy, I am out of it today. All right, so I'm getting word from the Commissioner's Imps that there was a foul on the previous play. It looks like Crunch there did manage to score a critical hit. We forgot about the flanking and the morale bonus, to be honest. Both of those factor into that. However, it won't really affect the outcome other than for Alec to take an additional 6 points of damage as the critical hit does double damage. So we'll just go ahead and reduce Alec by 6 more hit points there and continue on with play. Now, Moreira did just take both actions and an attack, so I think Moreira is done. Correct?
Yeah, Moreira is finished.
All right, next up is Alec. Alec is going to get a full boat of 3 actions. What is the drow gonna do?
Alec is going to go ahead and attack with the short sword on Bonehoof.
All right. We've got quite the mess over here. That is a terrible roll, Dan. A 3 comes out to a total of 13, and even with the flank, that came close to hitting, but is not going to do it. But I'm hearing some stirring from the drow pits, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, they're first looking in their purses to see if they actually have floating coins above their head.
They do indeed have a full raft. They still have 2 hero points remaining.
Perfect. All right. Well, they're gonna go ahead and spend a hero point then, and take that attack again.
All right, the hero point has been spent. The exact same roll. I swear, sometimes the hero points are more of a curse than a than a help. However,
Okay.
that was Alec's first action. You do still have 2 more.
Okay, and they have 1 more left, right? 1 more of those.
The Poison Shadows do still have their last and final hero point remaining.
Okay. Yeah, let's take attack number 2.
Attack number 2 is going to be a hit. An armor class of 23 is a solid hit. It's not going to be a crit, but a hit is pretty good nonetheless. That's 6 points of damage, but go ahead and roll that sneak attack die. 3 for a total of 9 is only going to be 4. Bonehoof is approaching half health, but not quite there yet, and that is... Let's see, Alex still has 1 action left.
Boy. I think they're gonna okay. They're gonna go ahead and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Move back towards the starting gate. Getting out of that flank, though, that's pretty clutch.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to survive another barrage of that flank at all.
That is absolutely true. All right, that is the end of Alex's turn. Next up is Screech. The skeleton is going to spend 1 action to move up here to the edge. The goblin skeleton is going to take aim at Moreira and is going to go ahead and fire the short bow at the drow. First attack is an incredibly pathetic armor class of 9. That is not going to do it and is going to go ahead and fire again. Natural 20. That is a critical hit. That is going to do 6 points of damage. However, the short bow is deadly, and we're going to go ahead and add a D10 on there. That is another 7 for 13 total damage.
And their nimble dodge doesn't do anything to negate a natural 20.
Yeah, the natural 20 isn't going to quite do it. It does come out to an armor class of 22. If it were a little lower, you could have turned it into a hit instead of a critical hit, but it unfortunately is just high enough that is not going to make a difference. All right.
That was 13 points of damage.
13 points of damage, yeah.
Okay.
That is a devastating development here at the end of the round. That is the end of Crunch's turn. And before we go to the break, let's hear again from one of our sponsors.
Today's MAUL competition is brought to you by Silver Crescent Wine.
Why take your chances with a subpar beer that is also a potential health hazard? Silver Crescent wines are delicious and won't leave you dying on the floor in need of a cleric. Avoid big beer brew.
And we're back with the start of round 3. Dan, what was going so well for the drow has come a bit unraveled there in round 2. The loss of Kron, followed up by some pretty heavy damage on both Moreira and Alec, has got this thing balanced on a knife's edge. They've got Bonehoof down some hit points, but not quite enough.
No, I definitely think putting in the additional modifier of not quite enough is really important here. I think doing the damage is great, but that is going to be a steep hill for them to climb to try to make that happen.
Yeah, so. The Minotaur still has almost 60% of his hit points left, and boy, both the drow are down to about half. So things are not looking great for the 2 drow sisters that are left on the board here today. To top it off, the crowd continues to cheer for the skeletons. The Bonebreakers are going to keep that morale bonus. And to start the round off, we've got Bonehoof, who is staring down Moreira. The Minotaur skeleton is going to roar in fury and swing his glaive down on the drow. Here it comes. Armor class of 25 is going to be a hit, but only 10 points of damage, which is fortunate.
Yeah, that is fortunate.
In the best way that we can possibly spin it from up here in our booth. At least it wasn't lethal. And the Minotaur skeleton is going to go ahead and attempt to finish Moreira off with a second swing. Armor class of 19 modified up to a 20 is going to end up being a miss after Nimble Dodge, I suspect, yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, Bonehoof doesn't have much else to play with here other than to attempt a third wild swing and hope for a ridiculously high roll. Here it comes. Yeah, not quite going to do it. An armor class of 12 is going to fall well short of what is needed. All right. That is the end of Bonehoof's turn. Next up is Crunch. The skeletal champion is going to go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Takes Crunch to there, and from there, Crunch is going to go ahead and take the second step over. That is going to be Crunch's second action, and with third action, instead of raising the shield, we're going to go ahead and swing with the longsword and hope for a better roll. Here it comes. Armor class of 19. Dan, against a flank. That is going to be a hit, and unfortunately, Moreira has already used Nimble Dodge once this round.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So that is going to do 6 points of damage. And unfortunately, I think that is enough to take Moreira off of.
You know what? Moreira's just gonna leave. I think Moreira's done with this fight. I think they've had enough. Yeah. They're just gonna go ahead and go.
Yeah. The Drow sister is like, see, I'm gonna go hang out with Tiss.
Bye.
In a poof of shadow and darkness, Tiss disappears from the battlefield. However, that is the end of Crunch's turn. Alec is still left. The last remaining drow on the board has a very tall order in front of her. What is she going to attempt to do?
You know, she's going to go right up there and just take an attack on Crunch.
All right.
Might as well. Let's do a short sword attack. Oof. Do I have any...
You do still have 1 hero point remaining.
Let's use that last hero point. Might as well.
The last hero point gets used, and go ahead and re-roll that attack roll. Armor class of 22 is going to be a hit for 10 points of piercing damage. That is going to get reduced to 5. The skeleton does not have his shield up, so he cannot take his shield block reaction. So that is going to do 5 points of damage to the captain of the skeleton team.
They've got one more turn left.
One action.
Or one more action left?
Yep.
You know what? Let's just take a swing. Why not?
All right. Alec is going to take a wild swing, but without any hero points remaining, that one is going to come up short. Next up in the round is Screech, the skeleton. Goblin skeleton is going to go ahead and fire a short bow at Alec. Armor class of 18, modified up to a 19, but it is only doing 1 point of damage.
Okay.
All right, and then Screech is going to go ahead and fire a second shot and a third shot. Second shot is a miserable roll of a 3, and the third shot is a 13. Those arrows going far and wide. And that, I believe, is the end of round 3, Dan. Let's go ahead and hear once again from our sponsors. As we take a break, we want to remind you that today's match is brought to you by Big Beard Brews. Beer made without any taint from the foul, forest-loving Fae and their orgies of song and mirth. Big Beard Brews. Drink like a dwarf. And we're back with the start of round 4. Dan, this thing is really starting to go off the rails for the Poison Shadows. Their pit can't be too happy with what's left in play.
They are... You know what? Here's the thing. They're not giving up hope, because there's always hope. But they're starting to give each other the side eye as they're like starting to hope. They're also like, should we still? What? Yeah, you never know.
I'm going to wager that in the aftermath of this, they're just going to blame it on Kron anyway. So
No, there's no question. I think that there's already rumors going around the team that are in the pits that Kron did something wrong. Maybe they didn't see it, but it's Kron's fault. Come on.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty likely. Now, the upside here is that the fans have started cheering for the Poison Shadows, and they are going to win the morale bonus for this round.
Nice.
We are going to go ahead and get it started here with Bonehoof. Bonehoof is going to start out the round, and you know what? We're going to go ahead and spend 2 actions to have Bonehoof move up to his speed. He's just going to come right up to there and make a horn attack against Alec as part of his terrifying charge ability. So let's go ahead and make that. This is going to be at a +4 bonus, so whatever roll I get, it's actually 4 higher than this. Oh, sorry, it's a +4 bonus to damage. So, oh. That is an armor class of 30.
Yeah, that... let's see. If I
don't believe Alec has used Nimble Dodge
in this
round.
No, definitely. No, the round just started. They definitely have not used Nimble
Well,
Dodge
since Alex's last turn, because it wasn't used against Screech.
It was not used against Screech, no.
All right, so that'll turn it from a critical hit into just a hit. So that is going to do 7 points of damage to Alec. But I am going to get a free Intimidate check as part of the terrifying charge. Here it is. What is Alec's will save?
6. Plus 1 status to save. Oh, versus magic. Never mind.
All right.
Oh, wait. Plus 2 to save versus mental?
All right, yeah, no, this Intimidate to Demoralize is a mental effect, so that is going to give you a +2 to your will save for a total of 8. That means you have a DC of 18, which means this Intimidate check is going to fail. That was...
Yay.
Yeah, exactly. That was 2 of Bonehoof's actions. Bonehoof has just 1 action remaining, and he is going to go ahead and swing the glaive. Here it comes. armor class of 17. That is not gonna do it. And we're gonna go ahead and spend the other hero point from the Bone Breakers to give him a reroll check on that glaive strike to see if he can bring this match to a close. Here it is. Armor class of 23 for 14 points of damage.
Ooh, my goodness. That is a lot of damage.
That is an awful lot of damage, rolling near minimum every time. This time, it paid off. And with that, the drow the poison shadows have been removed from the maul field. And the Bone Breakers are victorious. Dan, that was a bit of a slog, but you really felt like after the end of the first round that maybe the drow had a strategy that was going to pull it out. But boy, the wheels just came off it quick.
Very, very quick. Yeah, I think that that their plan seemed to be sound at the very beginning, but very quickly the cracks started appearing on that. So
yeah, they came in here with a sound strategy of flanking Bonehoof, getting in the extra damage and trying to bring him down quickly, but they just could not chisel him away fast enough before that glaive managed to kind of even out the field and leave the Bone Breakers standing victorious. You know what, Dan? Before we get out of this, why don't we hear from one of our sponsors again, and then we'll come back and chat about what we're looking at for the next 2 weeks.
And our MAUL sponsor today is Silver Crescent Wine. When the day of reckoning comes for the dirty dwarves and that mountain urine they call beer, the elves will celebrate the victory with casks of Silver Crescent Wine, because winners drink Silver Crescent Wine.
All right, Dan, next week on Saturday, December 5th, we are going to be seeing the Firestormers and the Poison Shadows face off for one last shot at redemption here in the MAUL Arena in the third place playoff game. Following that, on December 12th, is the moment we have all been waiting for, when the Bone Breakers will step into the arena to face off against the Bulmahn. It'll be a Minotaur versus a Minotaur skeleton, Dan. This is definitely going to be one to watch, and that is going to be happening on December 12th. One of them will take home the MAUL and the Commissioner's favor.
That's right. We're really looking forward to that. And we hope you enjoyed today's MAUL match. If you missed this or any of the other matches, you can always catch up by watching them on YouTube. New matches go up on the Monday following each game. And while you're at it, pick up some official MAUL merch featuring your favorite team logo. Just look for the link down in the video description below.
This has been a presentation of MAUL. We are your hosts. I am Jason Bulmahn.
And Dan Servo.
And we hope to see you next time.